Hello, Charlie Tango 1 here. A couple of days ago, we're talking about was it 24th of June 2018. Gentleman had been watching my YouTube channel, and he came across some work that I do when I was doing some restoration work on a shotgun, or a couple of shotguns actually. But I have to stress that the restoration work I do is it doesn't require the gun to be sent off back up to Birmingham for reproofing. Anything like that has to be done by a gunsmith. It's as simple as that. But simple stuff, yes, that's okay for me to do. Anyway, he's asked me, he's got his son's birthday present coming, his birthday coming up soon. Got to have a slurp of the tea, as you do. And this is part one, by the way. I don't know if it'll go into part two. Now, he wanted me to do a few things, but before I get started, I just want to say that don't forget, people, this is me double game holders, solid brass and quality leather. Having got that one out of the way, that's up till, because the shooting season starts and there'll be a rush on it, and I've had a bit of a glut on them at the moment. So without further ado, I'll get on to the subject in hand, which is this gun. He wanted a few bits and pieces done. He's got this game bag. He wanted that tidied up, etc., like, you know, and cleaned up. It's very good nick actually. Good condition. He had the straps here. These here were all broke. The thread had broken, both sides basically. So what I've done is I just re-stitched them up, and I tell you what, it was just this one side actually. So I'm just waiting to get hold of him. Just put his initials on there, his boy's initials. I think there's TB, I think, well, I'm not sure. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I've got all my stamps here, so I can put all my, you know, if ever you want the initials up on your some of your leather work. But anyhow, I've done that, and also he said, could you tidy this up for me, which is the gun slip. Well, I've done that. As you can see, that's a preservative, wood, leather preservative on there. I haven't rolled it up like that, and I've actually took the strapping off, and I've had to really give that a good doing with a leather balm to soften it up. It was getting quite brittle, it was dry, and it was screaming for a bit of food, so that's what I've done with that. Now, the gun, here are we? This is what you're all waiting for, isn't it? Are you waiting to see this gun? Now this gun here is a Browning. I'm not quite sure of the year, but as I say, we all get surprises, don't we? And when I got this, I thought, oh, I've never seen one like that before. So, but I'll leave it together like this, just so you can see that the woodwork on it. Look at the woodwork on that. It is really fantastic. And I'll turn it over the other side so you can see. I don't want to go banging things. Really lovely, look. I'm jealous of that, you know. Right, now that's a bit of just a bit of old cloth in there when you touch the barrels. A lot of people don't realise that when you touch the barrels, you produce acid on your skin, and unless you wipe that with only a smearing of oil with a little cloth, it takes away those fingerprints, which stops it eating into the metal, but a lot of people don't bother cleaning them, that's the trouble. Another little tip, when you store it in your cabinet, store it that way up, upside down. And the reason for that being, if you've done any oiling in your action, the oil will run downwards, especially from the ejectors. It will move downwards instead of it being up the other way and soaking all into the stock of wood, which makes it very soft. And then what happens is your stock splits, and they split right near the action here. That's where they split, down there 9 out of 10, or down near the trigger guard. I have known them to split down there, but that's what they tend to do. Now the difference with this one being, I'm going to have to re-oil it because I've handled it quite a bit. He had some little marks on here. I'll try and show you them. If you visualise looking up there about 3 inches, look up there about 3 inches from this tulip fore end. He had a little bit of pitting in that, well, not pitting, but you could see there's a bit of bluing coming off or something. Hadn't quite taken. And there's another one on the underside of there where this fore end comes off. Now, to get this fore end off, we should be able to do it actually. Here's this particular one. You push that lever, you push it down, you push it downwards, and then you pull it upwards, the action upwards. You see the gap there? Now, that's how you get the barrels off, away from the action. I'm going to bring this up close because I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Right, I've dropped it back down again, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this. In here, just in here, in there, you'll see there's a little screw head. Now I'm going to turn this in the hope that you can see it. Just down there it is. There's a little flathead screw. It's a flathead countersink. And to put it back, you just simply push it back down and snap the lever shut. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Now I thought that was actually brilliant, I thought, you know. And down near this tulip end, again I've got to bring it up close in the hope that you can see. Down in this tulip end, just here, you might be able to see. Sorry, I'm trying to do it so you can. It is just in there. There's 2 pieces of wood, hardwood they are. Now that hardwood, let's put this gun back somewhere safe. Now this, so I ended up re-bluing the barrels completely. All I'd done was I wiped the barrel thoroughly with my magic thinners to get all the grease and oil off, and then I just went over it with a swab of cotton wool ball, you know, put me super glue on there, and away I went. And I was surprised, it really took well actually. Because it was already blue, it didn't take any bluing off. It was hard to see where it was going on, but especially where that little mark was, it went on there, and I got some very fine wool, steel wool after one coat I think it was, or the second coat, and I just rubbed over the barrels in. That takes any high spots off, and then continue wiping it again with your wool, rinse it off, dry it out, and I use some an air pressured air. Where is it? Maplins don't, well, they've shut now, but you can now. I've noticed, I don't know where it is, but you can get a can now, the compressed air, and I got that in Asda's, which is ideal, and that was about, well, no, £2–3, but the one that they had in Maplin's, £15 they were, I thought so, and it was really just for clearing out the keyboards on your computer, but it was ideal. We got a spout on it, a little, you know, tube. It done the job brilliant. So anyway, I didn't do that. I'm rubbing it on. Anyway, so that's that little baby done, and the barrels have come up really nice. So once I've finished putting the bluing on, I rinsed it off, dried it off thoroughly. Don't forget to cork the ends of your barrel when you do it. Both ends, muzzle end and the breech end. And then I oiled it thoroughly. I just sprayed some WD-40 on it all over everywhere, and hung it in the shed overnight to let it cure. And by putting the oil on, it stops the activation of the bluing. Otherwise it'll carry on, and what it'll do is it will rust it. So, because it's a form of rust acceleration process, that's what it is. So it stops that, and it cures it overnight. Then I just cleaned it all up with the oil, made sure I got everything. Check down your barrels to make sure and none's gone in there, even though you put corks in there. And I'll give mine a wipe out with one of those green what is it, pads that the wife uses for washing up. Just cut a piece of that off, put it in your split piece that goes on your rod, your cleaning rod. Shoot that down there a few times, and then I'll get 3 or 4 pieces of toilet roll, tear them off, just keep stuffing them in the breech end, just keep stuffing them in, and then push the rod through on its own without no abrasive stuff. Push that through. You'd be surprised how much muck's been left behind by the lead, really, not so much the bluing, but it's a lead. Unless you score them out with a bronze brush or something, you don't know what, you know, the lead's still going up there. It's only excessive when it's done with felt wads, as opposed to plastic wad. Well, plastic wad, you're pushing the plastic up, and it's that going against the bore, not the shot. It only releases the shot when it comes out the muzzle. But a lot of these places, they're insisting on felt wad, which is a good idea, because they found a lot of sheep and cattle have been eating these plastic wads every time they open them up when they go for culling for our food. Anyway, that's not rabbing on, that's just something informative that you might want to know. I think I've mentioned it before, actually. So, without further ado, there it all is, it's all done. I've been trying to get hold of him, right, and I surprised myself. He came round yesterday morning, and it's now Sunday. That was Saturday morning. It's now Sunday evening, well, afternoon, 4 o'clock, and it's all done. So all that remains is I'll see you on the next one. Cheerio.